Right everyone, it is Finn here, and welcome to my Premier League Match Week 4 predictions, where today we're going to be talking about every game coming your way this Premier League match weekend. And of course, starting off our Premier League Match Week 4 predictions, we have Southampton versus Manchester United. Now you know how rare it is for me to wear this jersey with pride, because Manchester United, we did it, we beat Liverpool.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Now, of course, looking at Southampton versus Manchester United, it would just be the most Manchester United thing of all time. If we beat the almighty Liverpool, then go ahead to lose to Southampton. But at the end of the day, looking at the way Manchester United played, I do believe they are going to be able to pick up a 2-1 win. Obviously, looking at Southampton, they've scored in all of their Premier League games so far, so they have impressed me on the attacking front. I do think looking at Shea Adams, who across all competitions has scored 4 goals in his last 2 games, I do think Southampton will be able to score, but I do think Man United should get the win here. They were very, very impressive versus Liverpool. I mean, attacking-wise, they had the urgency needed. Defensively, they seem to have finally found their defensive partnership they've been searching for many years now. I mean, surprise, surprise, it doesn't include Harry Maguire.
Yes! 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 No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
But of course, Manchester United, top performance, and I do think you should get the win. Moving on, we have Brentford versus Everton. Now, of course, looking at Everton, the Toffees, ironically, they're on a tiny bit of a sticky situation at the moment. And of course, can Frank Lampard get them out of that situation? Well, I hate to be frank with you, but I don't quite think so. Of course, they brought in some brilliant centre-backs over this transfer window with Connor Cody and, of course, Tarkowski. But at the end of the day, it's still not working, and I do think Brentford could get a win. In fact, you know what? Everton are really struggling on the attacking front, and I don't even think they'll get a goal here. I mean, looking at Brentford, they've been really brilliant so far, although they lost their game versus Fulham. They had a really, really strong comeback. I mean, they were 2-0 down to come back 2-2, and to be honest, if Ivan Toney could stay on side, Brentford probably would have won 5-2, to be honest. But at the end of the day, Brentford, I think they've got a really good mentality, and they're just in a better place than Everton at the moment. Everton are in dire needs of a proper number 9 up front, and until they get that sorted out, I do think that the Bees, they'll pack a sting.
You know I'm allergic to them. This thing could kill me.
But of course, moving on to our next game, we have Brighton versus Leeds United. Now, of course, the Ben White derby here. And of course, looking at both of these two teams, I mean, I think they would have taken this if you offered them in the beginning of the season. But both teams unbeaten at the moment. Both teams have been absolutely phenomenal. Defensively, still have their moments where they look a bit shaky. But on the attacking front, I do believe this could be a very, very entertaining game. And that's why I'm going to put forward a 2-3 win in Leeds United's favour. Obviously, Leeds United, they were kind of, let's say, donated a goal by Edouard Mendy.
First time.
But at the end of the day, Leeds United, after crushing Chelsea Football Club 3-0, I do have to put faith behind them. I do have to back them. As I said, could go either way, but I do think Leeds United will win. Now, of course, next up, we have Chelsea versus Leicester City. Now, Chelsea, where do I start? As I said, a 3-0 loss to Leeds United. It should be criminal. Absolutely no team in the world should lose 3 United to Leeds.
What did he say?
I mean, unfortunately, they just couldn't cope with them. Obviously, maybe it's because they didn't have Thomas Tuchel on the sideline. Now they won't have Koulibaly for this game because of his red card. Absolutely anything that could have gone wrong for Chelsea did go wrong. Now, of course, versus Leicester City, luckily for Chelsea, losing their centre-back, luckily for them, Leicester City are also a struggling team at the moment. Once again, in terms of attack, we haven't quite seen them there. Obviously, defensively, as I said, without Schmeichel between the posts, as much as I like Danny Ward and as much as he is a dragon for the Welsh national team, he's been a bit more of, well, maybe an iguana for Leicester City. As I said, defensively, they have to sort out their problems, and even a struggling Chelsea team could beat Leicester City, I hate to say. And I do think it will probably end up being a 2-0 win. Nothing massive, but I think they'll just get it. You know what? In fact, I might just go with a 1-0 win. I think it could be a very close encounter, but I do still think that Chelsea will get it. Now, moving on, we have Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Now, Liverpool, I cannot believe it. We are 4 match weeks in, and Liverpool haven't won a single game. Boom. I think you would have to go all the way back till the 1920s since this last happened. But of course, versus Bournemouth, I still have some sort of faith in them. Obviously, I would say that maybe Liverpool were unlucky versus Man United. Not in terms of the score result. I think Manchester United deservedly should have won that game. But of course, looking at them, they do have a few players that are injured injured at the moment. They did miss Darwin Núñez due to his suspension, and I do think if they had Darwin Núñez, the result could have gone the other way. But of course, returning to this fixture versus Bournemouth, who will be tied as they faced Man City, Arsenal, and of course Liverpool all in a row. I do think Bournemouth will be tied, and Liverpool do need to capitalise on this, because if they don't win this game, serious questions need to be asked. Now moving on, we have Man City versus Crystal Palace. Now once again, I would like to say that this has a very obvious kind of favourites to it, obviously being Man City, but Manchester City haven't beaten Crystal Palace in their last 2 games, obviously losing one, drawing one. Crystal Palace could hold the surprise here. But I do think I still have faith in Man City. I think that they could take home a 3-1 win, just because looking at Crystal Palace. On the attacking side, Patrick Vieira has built something very special in this Palace team as a whole. They've got that defensive urgency that's needed in the Premier League. On the attacking front, Wilfried Zaha has hit a whole new level. But unfortunately, versus Man City, I still think City are very, very strong. Of course, they drew 3-3 with Newcastle United, which once again doesn't seem great for them. But at the end of the day, it kind of showed their resilience coming back from 3-1 down. And by the end of the game, the kind of attacking urgency, they could have won that game 6-3.
But you didn't.
Once again, it's a Pep Guardiola team, and the game's not over until it's over with Pep Guardiola. We know that, and therefore I do think that they will get the result. And of course, I haven't done it for the other games, but a player you have to keep your eyes out on is Erling Haaland. Once again, 3 goals in 3 games along with 1 assist. Absolute beast mentality. Moving on, we've got Arsenal versus Fulham. Now, I'm saying this could be the game of the match week to watch. Looking at Fulham, they've been brilliant throughout this match week. Obviously, they are also unbeaten at the moment. Versus Arsenal, who are the only team to have won all 3 games so far this season.
Those are gonna win the league! False, mate! We're Arsenal!
We're gonna win the league! We're gonna win the league!
Which is weird considering they lost all 3 of their first games last season. Once again, it shows, trust the process. Maybe Mikel Arteta is the man for the job. And I do think that they will end up winning this one as well. I think it will be a 3-2 win. Just because looking at Fulham, I do think that they've got an absolutely spectacular team. I think defensively, they've brought in some brilliant players. Attacking-wise, once again, Mitrovic, he is showing that I was potentially wrong in the beginning of the season when I said he isn't a Premier League proven striker. I think he is showing it this time around. Of course, look at all elements of Fulham. They are looking strong, but versus Arsenal, who once again, attacking-wise, one of the deadliest in the Prem right now. 2 clean sheets, 3 wins. It has to be Arsenal. Moving on, we've got Aston Villa versus West Ham. Now, once again, this is a very, very tricky prediction to do. Obviously, West Ham, 0 goals in their first 3 games. Defensively, have been shocking, have lost probably 2 games that they shouldn't have. Obviously, they should not lose to Brighton, and they should not lose to Nottingham Forest. But of course, here we are. They are not in a good place. And a lot of it does go down to David Moyes. David Moyes hasn't quite been there for West Ham this season. Of course, I feel like his substitutions aren't quite there. He's been doing it a bit too late. I feel like tactically, West Ham United seem very slow, very clunky. And versus this Aston Villa team, it could cost them quite a bit. Now, of course, Aston Villa haven't been great this season either, but they've had a few more promising moments than West Ham United. Of course, they also got a very comfortable win in the League Cup. So once again, whether that's a point to prove, I do feel like, although I have a bit more faith in Aston Villa, for some reason, I do feel like this is the moment West Ham switch on, and they should get a 1-0 win, although, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Villa were the heroes on the day. Now, moving on to what I believe is our second last game, we have Wolves versus Newcastle. Now, of course, as I said, Newcastle United had an absolutely brilliant display versus Manchester City. I mean, I want a slice of that magpie because that was something else. Obviously, I think I might go with a 3-0 win. And yes, I know that's quite a big win for Newcastle. But just that display overall versus Manchester City to get that 3-3 draw. I do believe a large part to why they didn't end up getting the win is because they only had a 67% pass success rate, which once again versus a Manchester City team or in the Premier League in general, unfortunately not good enough. But their display as a whole, it was ruthless. They showed resilience on the attacking front, very, very impressive. Once again, you have to watch St. Maximin. Once again, he was an absolute beast, which once again, to cause trouble in defense to a Manchester City team, it says a lot versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, who once again, unfortunately, from attack to defense are not there so far this season, and they could be almost in trouble of relegation tradition, dare I say. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to our final game of the match week, Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, of course, as you guys know, I have obviously recorded a video with Max Goodwin before. Obviously, him being a Forest fan, I do want them to do well. But at the end of the day, looking at Tottenham Hotspurs, I still believe that they are the stronger team. But I feel like this could be a close one. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspurs have some brilliant attack. But that might be a problem versus Nottingham Forest because their goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, has the most saves in the Premier League at the moment. 18 saves in 3 games. That averages to 6 saves per game. Once again, versus a team that's got Kane, Son, Kulusevski and Richarlison up front. It is not going to be easy for Tottenham Hotspurs, but once again, with all that talent, I do believe it's almost like a dam wall. I do feel like eventually they will break through, but I do think Nottingham Forest, from what we've seen so far, they'll hold up a fight. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's Premier League prediction video. I hope that you did end up enjoying it. Obviously, once again, Premier League match week 4, I think it will be an exciting one at the end of the day. Don't forget to put your predictions down below. Obviously, last week, the person with most accurate predictions was, I think it was Zachary. I think that's what their name was. If it wasn't, I am so sorry. But they did get 5 out of the 10 Premier League predictions correct. Once again, if you do want me to mention you, if you do want me to shout you out, put your predictions down below, and if they are the most accurate, you will feature in next week's video. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. FYNN. Until next time, cheers. I've also tried to make this prediction video slightly shorter. We'll see how that works.